Oh, hello there. Are you ready for some retro gaming fun?
What's in the box?
I think I love retro games.
What's in the box?
It is me, it is Jace at Retrogames! Yes, hello, over enthusiastic intro as ever. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the Retro Games channel, then we basically talk about old stuff, old video games that come into our legendary, it's the thing of legend, our legendary retail shop. That's an online shop only. Don't go getting your hopes up. You can go for a browse. You can't browse. You can only browse online, and then preferably on a computer, because the mobile version of the site's not very good. That's honesty, isn't it? That's honesty. You know, you need to be on a desktop PC to get the best out of the retrogames.co.uk website. Yeah! Anyway, how are you? There's an elephant in the room. Let's address the elephant in the room. Last week's show, I used a little bit of a saucy thumbnail. It was an experiment. It was a bit naughty. I see there was no comments from any females. Retro Claire, I'm sorry, Retro Claire. I felt embarrassed putting that on as a thumbnail, but it was an experiment. And as some of you may have noticed, it was a kind of positive experiment. It worked well. Now this is embarrassing to be a man. As a thumbnail, some computer generated thighs, okay? There's some computer generated thighs, maybe just a hint of underwear, okay? Just a hint of it. No face, no, it's just some thighs. But that thumbnail got us, that is the most popular video we've ever done! Yes, we got to 500 views, no advertising. That was just organic, general from the thumbnail. I mean, crazy, isn't it? Isn't it crazy? Embarrassing, but also brilliant that we got someone, because it wasn't just, we got 7 new subscribers from last week's video. So it did just generally get more attention. I haven't done it this week. I haven't put a saucy thumbnail this week. I've been a bit more, restrained, just so we can compare the results. But I do think that all you retro guys with your own channels there, I've given you a massive heads up there. We need saucy thumbnails, and you get a lot more traffic. I know, pathetic, absolutely pathetic. I'm going to go off and castrate myself right now. No, I'm not. But, that would make a really entertaining video. Anyway, I know what you're thinking. What's in the box, Jace? Yes, what is in the box? Okay, so this week, we basically go through all the new stuff that come in this week. It's been a good week. Some interesting stuff. I'm going to start with hardware. You're getting used to it. We've got a computer to start. And it is this. Now, I'm really excited about this one. It's heavy. And that's because, oh my goodness, what is that? You do not see this. This is an Atari 800 XL set. But it is in its own shipping box. That is the original shipping box. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. Let me just spin that around. You can see the ends. Yeah, so this set came in this box. And all these years, I don't think I've ever seen an Atari shipping box like this. Anyway, open the box, Jace. Let's have a look inside. Yes, what is it? It's a full Atari 800 XL setup. Let me just turn that and get it on the top camera, and so you can see everything is pristine in its box. So the first up, we've got the 1010 cassette player. Incredibly unreliable cassette player. This one is also unreliable. I think we've got a broken band, but it's in beautiful condition. I'll just give that a whiz. I mean, maybe I'll move the big box because it's filling up the screen. It's so huge. It is so huge. And let's just open up these things. And this has been a lovely lady sold it to us, and she just had it in her loft since she was a kid. It's just been all up in the loft, just sitting there waiting. And as you can see, absolutely beautiful condition. It's such a chunky cassette. People forget the old 1010. That is one heck of a chunky cassette player. It's solid, isn't it? And you have an in and out, so you could have dual cassette players, or you could have cassette and disc. Has its own power supply. The power supply is included, of course, but in amazing condition. I mean, it was. I'm not all about just displaying old stuff. You're saying, yeah, what's behind you, Joe? No, but I mean, it's not about display only, is it? It's about using this stuff, and I'm all for using, but this particular one is lovely for display. It's just lovely for display. Occasionally to get something which you think, oh, that would look really good in a museum or something, and I think this set, well, the boxes anyway. What about this? So this is the Atari Proline joystick. That's Proline. I don't like that term, Proline. These are strange joysticks. They're like joysticks with a built-in paddle. They're okay. I mean, yeah, the joystick is fine. A little bit unresponsive. They show their age a bit, but I mean, it's all right. It's all right. I mean, if you've come up with the Atari joystick, which is pretty much, it's the joystick that defines joysticks, isn't it? It's such an important shape and design. Don't go changing it. You already came up with the original joystick. You know, it's what we all eventually conformed to during the 8-bit and 16-bit era. It's the classic. It's all based on the Atari joystick, isn't it? So yeah, don't go mucking about with it. But anyway, what's next? What's next in the box? So yeah, we've got a big box of. This is power supplies. The original cassettes that came with it. It's got everything's here. So yeah, we've got some really awful Atari games. Let me just get this. We've got chess, the Lone Raider. I mean, oh God, can you think? This is just put in there for parents, isn't it? You know, oh, get this for your child. He can learn about European capitals. Brilliant. Invitation to Programming. It's just yeah, starter cassette. And Eastern Front 1941. No, there's no killer app in there, is there? There's no amazing games. The Atari ones, pretty lackluster, weren't they? But they were all included. That's why you see those red boxes so much, because they were in this set. We've got some manuals, of course. We've got the connection manual. It's for the PAL systems. You've got the cassette recorder manual. You've got the warranty. You've got the 800XL manual, and you've got the Atari Basic manual. So loads of manuals. And now let's get the baby out. You know, you want to see it. Here is the actual computer. Yes, an Atari 800XL, but what a lovely box. Let me just get that on the big screen. Oh, look at that. It's just so nice when you see this stuff in its original boxes. You've got a big UK yellow sticker on the side. I know what you're thinking, what about the bottom? What about the bottom? Yeah, the bottom's got loads of stuff going on. It's got loads of info. Beautiful though. Beautiful. Yeah. It's got some, what's it advertising? What's the big hits it's advertising there? It's Time-Wise, VisiCalc and Atari Music. I mean, they're not big sellers, but also Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, yeah, you forget that. I mean, people think about Nintendo's influence after the NES, but they forget that actually it was a system seller for an Atari machine. So Nintendo's always been there, hasn't it? Always been there. I will get it out, all right, I'll get it out of the box, but this is where there's slight disappointment, because it's, I'll show you. What's this back? Oh, there's a pull-off strip. Let's do a reveal. I've got room on the table. Oh, it's upside down. You never know, do you? You never know. Power supplies are all in that box. That's why it's just a computer. Yes, there it is. It's in its original plastic, but it's a bit discoloured. That's the term we use. We don't say nicotine yellow. We say discoloured. It's a little bit yellowy, sadly, but it is in nice condition otherwise. And it is fully working and tested. But yeah, that's just been left out in the sun for a bit too long. Yeah, but I don't know. And we're in a position where the computers are great, but to see the packaging and the box and the shipping box, it's just special, isn't it? You don't get to see this stuff. And I always feel very excited when we get something in the shipping box particularly, though it's only a brown cardboard box, I'll give you that. A lovely example of an Atari 800XL set. What's next, Chase? Okay, let's get these out quickly. We have some N64 stuff. We have some boxed controllers this week. The yellow. What's next? The black. And what's next? The blue. Yeah, I love these. I mean, you do need the whole set, but here's, I mean, three classic colours of the N64 controller. I mean, yeah, yellow is a classic, but you need the green and the red and the blue. I mean, they look brilliant. Occasionally we get, not so much these days, but occasionally we get multicoloured controllers. They have put a lot of these back into production. There's a company making pretend versions of the classic N64 controllers, but they don't have the Nintendo brand at the top, but they are the same design. You could get away with it. I mean, to me, it's not authentic, is it? I do want it to be authentic, and these are proper, actual, official Nintendo. Lovely condition, beautiful condition, in their boxes, with the inner packaging. You can see there's a couple of little holes for the pads. Yeah. I mean, you're thinking, yeah, that's a bit boring, Jace, that's a control. I don't know. Is it boring? Is it boring? I mean, it's something lovely about having a shelf of your N64 collection with all the boxed controllers. Oh, that is going to look pretty good. You've got to have your boxed rumble packs, your boxed, well, transfer pack. I don't know. I just think it's nice. What about your boxed expansion pack? Yes, expansion pack. Oh, really beautiful expansion pack. Look at this. If you don't know, expansion pack pumps up the memory inside the N64 console. Makes it possible to play some of the later games. Donkey Kong 64, Majora's Mask, Perfect Dark. They all used the expansion pack. So not many games used it, but the ones that did use it are pretty special games. So there was a lot of demand for the expansion pack. I'm going to get it out of the box because it's just so. Look at that. So you get the your little spade flicker. That under the little, you know, inside the hatch, you open it up and you use that little spade to flick the jumper pack out, and then you put in this red-topped expansion pack. And here we've got the manual. Look at that manual. Yeah, beautiful. It's just a beautiful example of the expansion pack. And if you're an N64 collector, you probably need it. You probably need it. Beautiful. What else is in the box? More N64, I think. Is there? No. No, that was all the N64. But what about this for Gamecube? Let's go Gamecube. Jungle Beat. Now, Jungle Beat. It's one of those games that gets forgotten about because everyone associates the bongo controller for the GameCube with the game Donkey Konga, which is a very typical Bimani hit the bongos at the right time as the notes scroll up the screen kind of game. But Nintendo thought, oh my god, we've sold loads of bongos, we need to make another game for the bongos. And so they made Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Let's check it out. Here he is, it is Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. A lot of fun this. Very short levels, a certain influence from a very famous game with a blue hedgehog. Yeah, it's a bit like Sonic. Fast, rapid levels, you'll see what I mean. But you're using these bongos as the controller, and here we go, we're going to start. Now, a bit like track and field, get your speed up by running one at a time on the old bongos, and then both together to jump. It's all about timing. It's very different to your typical platform game with a controller, because you are constantly pressing them both together, get the jumps right, get the timing right. Oh, Diddy Kong's joined the game. Yeah, jump and then try and get the big jumps. You seem to really pound the bongos playing this. You really give them some abuse. But it's about timing rather than your traditional platform. I guess like Sonic, really. And this big guy just pounding these controllers to kill him. And then, believe it or not, it's not much further to go down this chute. Just catching them bananas. Grab hold of him, and then we swing up to the big bunch of bananas at the end. Here's the fanfare. Yeah, and that's what the levels are like. So as you can see, it's a proper arcade fun game using bongos as a controller. And if Donkey Konga hadn't existed, just imagine how crazy this item would be. Just given another use to have those bongos, because they're just going to sit there forever. Nobody played Donkey Konga for long. You could play multiplayer though if you were lucky enough to have any friends that would play bongos with you. And look, it's absolutely beautiful condition in there. You've got the game. Still got the wrap on the bongos. I don't know if you can see under there. I don't want to wreck it. Oh, we've got the instructions for the bongos. It's like new. It's like new, and there's the bongos inside. Yeah, beautiful game. These things, I know they weren't very rare, but they're suddenly getting very rare in this kind of beautiful condition. Yeah, Jungle Beat. Move on, Jace. Move on from the GameCube. There's some very nice Nintendo stuff this week. Well, what about these? These are a couple of rare games for the Nintendo NES. It's still on Nintendo. What about this? Check out Noah's Ark by Konami. Another strange platform game. You play this little old man, I guess, is Noah from the religious story. And the screen is filling up with water, as you'd expect. There's a big flood coming and you've got to rescue the animals. In this case, I mean, on this level, we are fighting the Romans. There's a lot of religion in this. But here we go, in a desert level. Are we catching the animals? Are we trying to save them? Or are we just trying to kill them? Poor snakes and scorpions, they're gone. What about this? This is Australia. Are we catching the kangaroo? Are we killing the kangaroo? I don't know. There's an emu. Let's kill the emu. Oh yeah, such a wholesome game. And if we jump off of here into the water, hang on, just in this bit here, yeah, we turn into a fish. Once we're in the water, I don't know if that's part of the religious story. But yeah, it's a bit of a crazy platform, a lot of fun. Kill the lizards. Yes, a very undersold game, almost forgotten about. But yeah, really, really good. It's sold in tiny numbers, very rare. And this is the UK power release, Noah's Ark by Konami. And the other rare NES game this week was this. And this is one that a lot of people try and find out. This is DuckTales 2. Now, I've got to own up, I don't know much about Donald Duck's relatives. Well, I think we're playing some sort of Scrooge McDuck or something. We're straight into a boss level there. Treasure turns up in a satchel. This level, remind you of anything? Yes, the classic Boulder Dash. He's thinking, oh, well, this is crazy. I thought this was a platformer. It's like Boulder Dash. And isn't this exciting, isn't it? Yeah, we're using our walking stick to bash the blocks. Yeah, I know. Oh, hang on. Oh, the rocks don't fall down. Yeah, it's a bit of a letdown, that really, isn't it? But don't worry, we'll climb this rope and then we get back to more traditional platforming. Yes, and we grab hold of that, and yes, you kind of ride your walking cane to stab the enemies. It's a lot of fun. If you like DuckTales 1, you'll probably like this. Yes, now DuckTales is one of those games that a lot of people require in their NES collection. I think a lot of kids got DuckTales. It was seen as family-friendly fun. A lot of parents bought it with the console. But DuckTales 2 sold in tiny numbers, and this is the UK V cartridge. Incredibly rare, incredibly rare. Even though it's cartridge only, it is still worth a lot of money. DuckTales 2. Is it dark? Has it got a subtitle? No, it hasn't. Just DuckTales 2. Moving on. Okay, what's next? Let's stick one more Nintendo thing. And that is this. Now this is a bit special. Okay, what are you thinking? What's in the box, Jess? What's in the box? Well, it's got a really, really pristine Super Nintendo controller. For starters, it's got a couple of cables. Let me just unwrap this thing. This is... This is a analog NT, Super NT. Now, some of you aficionados, you proper, you know, you guys with the really, really beautiful collections will know exactly what this is. Let's put it on. This is a compact, it's a Super Nintendo. It is a Super Nintendo, but in a tiny compact design. It is a reference. They say this is the reference console. This is a console capable of 1080p output for the SNES. It's compatible with all SNES games. That's like including Super Famicom, US SNES, UK PAL, Euro SNES, every SNES game you can play on this. And it has so many modes, there's no lag, it doesn't use emulation, it's a hardware base, it's beautifully compact too, it's lovely condition, compatible with all the same peripherals, it's got the same controller ports, HDMI out, powered by a USB, micro USB, and yeah, you've got a memory card in the slot. You can do updates and that, and I think you can put memory cards, SD cards for the games in there. But it's such a beautiful thing, highly sought after. It's been out of, they stopped making them years ago, and now I think it's not that old, 2018 I think, but very limited run. Analog are an interesting company. We had Analog made their own version of the Neo Geo, but made out of wood. We had it in stock once. Here's a picture of it. Now they're an American, California company who just redesign and rebuild classic consoles from scratch and make them new again. I mean, make new, better versions of them with hardware, not emulation. They're not running emulation. Obviously, the big one at the moment is the Analog Pocket, which I haven't got one here to show you, but it is an amazing version of the Game Boy that will also play other handheld formats like the Game Gear and the Lynx. You know about this stuff, don't you? But anyway, Analog, collectible in their own right because they are so super serious. These are expensive consoles. I think even the retail price when it came out was about $300, and now it's completely sold out. You can't get one anymore. So these things, they only accrue value because they are seen as the serious gamers consoles. Okay, something different, wasn't it? Different. What's left in the box? A couple of things left in the box. What about this? Now this is a classic. This will take you back. One of my all-time favourites. It's a Konix Speed King. Yeah, the Konix Speed King joystick. Now this is such a beautiful design. It sits in the hand. It sits in the hand. Your finger naturally is on the fire button. You don't even have to use the first finger. You can use the second finger. And it's got this beautiful clicky stick, and you just two hands, but it's absolutely super accurate. Really took off during the 16-bit era. I think, like, you know, Atari ST and Amiga, you wanted a Speed King. The Konix, this was such a iconic, brilliant joystick. It sold in its millions, though it's very hard to find now for some reason. You very rarely find them. But it gave Konix all the funds, so they had all that money to invest in the multi-system, didn't they? And then they went bankrupt. If they just stuck with joysticks, maybe we'd have Konix controllers now, and that's sad. It's sad, but anyway, it's probably the most iconic thing that Konix ever made. I mean, the multi-system never came out, so we can't talk about that. But it's just that this is in lovely condition, fully tested. Often you get some damage to the label because this is just like one big label sheet that they put on there. Beautiful. You get special versions. There's a NES version, there's a Master System version, there's an auto fire version. The auto fire button's usually there, and you can see there's spaces for like extra buttons. There's two more fire button positions, and also, I mean, that if you have got that one with that thumb really well positioned. I don't know if they just got lucky. They probably just got lucky. You think of the research that goes into modern day game controllers. I think Konix just got really lucky and came up with a design straight away that was brilliant. Yeah, so, you know, Competition Pro, people love the old Competition Pro, you have zip sticks, but for me, I love the accuracy and you feel connected to the game. You feel more connected because I think the two-handed, I don't know, the way you have to hold it, you're holding it quite hard. It's brilliant for them sort of games too, the wagglers, brilliant for the waggle games, you know, your track and fields. But anyway, yeah. That is a Konix Speed King. Iconix Speed King. Yeah, that was clever, wasn't it? One more game in your box, and it's something for the Spectrum! Okay, we got... Yes. Okay, we've got a Spectrum game. Just one Spectrum game in the box. We haven't listed much on Spectrum for a while. And it is this. It is Cosmos by Abex. And now the reason this game is so special is because it's by Costa Panier. And Costa Panier is famous for, he's a revolutionary in 3D. He was one of the first 3D game designers. What's his best game? What is his best game? Alien Highway? Probably. TLL, I mean, there's so many games he made. Cyclone, one of my absolute favourites. Guts, did he do Guts? Anyway, he was a legend, and this was his, I think this was his very first game. It's called Cosmos. Check it out. Let's start with some instructions. You're the pilot of an advanced Defender class starship. Wow! You must protect convoys of sublight speed cargo vessels from hostile attack and natural dangers. A quadrant of space, area 3x3 sectors, is placed under your control with a convoy of 9 ships in the centre. Using your view screen, you can see the equivalent area of the one sector, and by manipulation of the view screen, all 9 sectors can be observed. Your starship computer is programmed to give advanced warn, dim, ng of all immediate hazards. There's a lot of words there, but basically this is your typical Star Wars inspired shoot the TIE fighters. Pretty poor shoot 'em up. But, you know, we got excited for a moment there. We all had to start somewhere. And this is where Costa started. Brilliant. What a great game. I'd love to have something 8-bit on the show. We haven't had anything 8-bit. Well, the Atari was 8-bit for a while. Thanks for watching. I do hope you'll continue to watch. Until next week, happy retro gaming!
Retrogames.